Welcome to the Appleseed Podcast, where we focus on music, culture, and history. My name is Christopher Shipman, and today we have three of the same usual faces, like last time. We have Nikki, and we have Nikki back, and we also have Vontae, and of course Daniel covering it live. Okay, so for those that are new and tuning in, I want to say thank y'all for tuning in. This has been a very interesting year thus far, and basically having a podcast during this time of year and trying to maneuver the best way possible, talking about things. And we want to talk about so many other things, but it just seems as if so many other things are way much more important to talk about right now. So but we promise that we'll get back to the nits and grands of what makes this podcast what we talk about, which is, like I said, and like I said before in the intro, we talk about music as well as culture and as well as history. But with so much going on in the world today, regards to race relations, just striving for equality, which seems to be a never-ending war, a never-ending war of words and actions. But hey, I guess just to start off, just like how's everybody been for the past 2 weeks?
Been pretty straight.
Yeah, me too. Been working, tired, but that's every day. But it's been pretty good these past 2 weeks.
Okay. You, Dan?
Yeah, same here. Just I guess keeping up and pretty much like Vontae, just working. Getting a little, I guess the week prior I was a little more involved and went to a few protests, captured a few pictures, and spoke to a lot of different people about it, definitely, over the last 2 weeks. A lot of different perspectives, but definitely it's been pretty good. So.
Okay. I guess just to give a brief overview, we'll probably talk about it next episode. As much as music has been like our escape from a lot of things, there's been people that have been dropping projects here and there, but I guess just to highlight that, and I guess somewhere down the line, either next week or next Sunday or the following Sunday after that, we'll be able to talk about those projects in full, like the whole Run the Jewels 4 came out in the middle of this week. Or should I say last week? They dropped it, I believe it was on a Wednesday. And who else dropped? That's a highlight for me. I can't really think of nobody else other than them.
Tekashi, man. Don't forget about Tekashi. Him and Nicki Minaj collab, man.
For real. I have to listen to Nicki.
But
I've been hanging around kids. That's the only time.
But yeah, it's just we'll find some time to like talk about that in full. But I guess today we're gonna continue the conversation from last week, when we were more so talking about everybody's feelings of these protests, these riotings and stuff like that, and just basically giving an overview of processing our thoughts on it, right? And that is an episode we actually had the pleasure of having Chaz and whatnot, who gave an awesome perspective and things of that nature. And y'all can check that on the YouTube channel. But today, we're here to talk about this whole discussion between protests and rioting, and whether they are conducive to work together side by side in the midst of all this. Like, before I give my thoughts, how do y'all feel about rioting? Like, do y'all think that and I guess we can, go one by one. What is y'all's opinions on rioting, and do y'all feel it is effective in getting what is needed to be done? The attention, whether it's getting legislation passed or whatever the case may be. Do y'all feel that rioting is effective?
Yes.
Explain why.
It's hard to explain why, but like I can give you an instance. Like,
Okay.
Boston Tea Party was a riot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For them to throw the tea into the water, for them to get Britain and say, hey, y'all are doing us wrong over here. Y'all are taxing us without representation, and it worked.
Gotcha.
It was effective. For them, anyways.
It got their attention.
It got the attention of the person that they were trying to say, hey, and they got results.
Can we say that rioting is violent?
Yeah.
Is a very violent, aggressive approach?
Yeah. I don't think that you should tear up your own stuff.
Okay.
But just like they threw their tea into the water, not their own tea that they were growing. They didn't grow their own crops.
So, I guess comparing that to that, would you say that the Boston Tea Party of throwing the tea into the water was for them, that was an aggressive way in saying that we're not
their
saying
riot.
Yeah.
That was their riot. Okay. And they was able to get whatever was needed to be and they was able to get whatever they needed to be done.
Yeah, they got the Constitution written.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I agree though. I agree that it does capture the attention of whoever's doing the oppressing. In large part to me, simply because you're tearing up stuff that brings in their money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, yeah,
Britain's money is being thrown into the water.
Yeah, I think it is effective in capturing the attention.
So tea was like for those that don't know, so tea was like a very not only inexpensive but it was beneficial for Britain.
Oh yeah.
So them throwing the tea into the water was kind of like in other words, them holding a gun to someone's head and saying like this is my way in saying do is what I asked for, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's like many instances. That other rebellion that was led, I can't remember his name.
Bacon's?
Yeah, Bacon's rebellion.
Oh, Bacon's
he
one
led
of
that
the
whole
times.
thing
Yeah.
to get. I don't remember what they were fighting for, but
Yeah.
That's actually one of it's interesting you bring that up. That's actually one of the few times that lower class blacks and whites came together, and it was extremely powerful. Matter of fact, it's probably the last time I can say that by the masses it happened.
Yeah.
And immediate change happened.
Right.
Okay.
But okay, so I guess I get my perspective. Protesting and rioting is the first step. And as y'all alluded to in history, it has proven to work. The only thing is you have to be strategic with, like, they didn't just go dump tea in the ocean just because they was mad.
Right.
Yeah.
They strategically did that.
Yeah.
So the only thing is it does have to be strategic and have a point at the end. And the only reason why you do that is for you to get their attention to listen to now, here's our demands. Or here's what we want accomplished, or here's what's going on.
Right.
Either way, it's been various different ways. We've seen violent, we've seen non-violent, we've seen aggressive. We seem kind of passive. We seem passionate. I think we have a history of all different kinds. But I think that if you study history, pretty much every movement, I would say, started with some type of version of a quote-unquote riot or protest. So is it effective? Yes, if it's utilized in the right way. But it is step one. So.
Step one.
Or it could be step two, because you have to first, I guess, figure out what you protest for.
But yeah, I think organization will be step one.
But then the protest comes,
Yeah.
and then, but you have to have a follow-up plan behind it.
Yeah.
What's your opinion, Valentine?
Same. I think it is effective in capturing the attention, but like he said, it needs to be strategic. I was watching Brother Polite the other day, and the thing he said, the only problem he has with us tearing stuff up and going out there is it looks unorganized, and it is unorganized, and he would just like for us to organize and do that, strategically go places and riot. Don't just go in your city and tear down the food market that you shop at. But I agree with all parties. I think it's effective.
Okay. I agree. I agree. I agree with y'all. My perspective actually got from because a friend of mine had brought this up, and I thought it was the most best explanation of because when I think of peaceful protests and I think of riots, it's the perfect explanation of someone having love and rage at the same time. And I use this point, and I'm gonna use the exact same point that she made, and I thought was a very good point. The point that she made was, have y'all ever watched John Q? John Q.
You ain't never seen John Q? I'm sorry. You never seen John Q? Nikki!
All cameras on
No, I can't even tell
Okay.
I'll go buy you that.
Okay.
You can watch it now.
I'm going to, the same way I did for Mother, I'm gonna give you the most greatest overview of that movie, okay?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
tearjerker, boy.
Denzel Washington was the father of a dying son who was dying because of heart failure. Okay? He loved his son so much that when he purposely went to take his son to the hospital to in search for someone who had the same heart type as him in order to get a donor, a heart transplant, right? He loved his son so much that he held up that hospital in hopes that he got the help that his son needed in order for his son to be able to survive and live a happy life and not being able to die at the young age that he was.
Gotcha.
Not only did he held up the hospital, he was willing to put his life on the line.
Yeah.
Plenty of times.
He was at the window like Malcolm.
He was willing to put his life on the line. He held a group of people hostage just so that the attention's on the fact that, hey, I'm doing this because my son is dying and I don't have the resources and I'm not going anywhere until my son lives.
Gotcha. Okay.
To me, that is the perfect example of, yes, I'll agree, rioting to the outside looking in, it looks very disorganized.
Yeah.
But see, what I love about this analogy is that when you love someone so much, just same way as these people, us, that are going out and protesting, we're protesting because we want this shit to stop, and we want to draw attention to the fact that, hey man, this shit's gotta stop. And enough is enough. And it gets to the point where you at your wit's end and you willing to do just about anything to not only get the attention of the masses, but to make sure you get the not only the appropriate but the most satisfying results necessary to make sure that this shit stops.
Right. Yeah.
So yes, people are rioting, people are looting.
Yeah.
People are doing just as much whatever is necessary to not only just draw attention to the matter of what's going on, to what people seem to be blind to,
Yeah.
for that matter.
Yeah.
But it gets to a point where, I like to say this: all fair is pretty much all fair in love and war. And
I think the greatest thing about when she used that movie reference, and it was so interesting, I've been watching it as a kid, was, remember, he held people hostage just like with the bank. So most times you think of a bank scenario.
Like a bank robbery.
Yeah. It was so funny towards like after they spent time with Denzel. And like, remember, he holding them hostage. Like everybody got jobs, families, like these everyday people. It got to the point where he started releasing the hostages, and they were like they were interviewing. They were like, nah, like they were, you know, the media trying to paint him as like this evil.
Yeah.
Got him as hostage, you know. And they were like, nah, like y'all gotta get this man's his son a heart.
Yeah.
Like they were vouching for the criminal.
And I'll give this to you, to you, Vontae. That is a perfect example of someone that, because you had the analogy where your intentions matter in regards.
Okay, yeah.
This is a perfect analogy when someone really doesn't want to hurt no one, but he's willing to go that far
Yeah.
to
He held it up. Like,
to make sure that his son gets the attention he needs,
yeah.
so that for he survives.
Yeah. And that was his only intention.
And that was in love.
Yeah.
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 And that, to me, that's why I say let the process of this protesting and this rioting manifest as it should, and whatever happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And to the point, like, I've been actually shocked at, like, for example, the NBA players, if you follow basketball, the NBA players are due back on the 31st of next month. So basically kind of like probably about 50, 45 days away, right?
Yeah.
And basically they're playing the rest of the season, looking at numbers wise, they're going to get majority of their check, which for some people, you're talking about like $30 million, you know?
Yeah.
So I've been shocked at a few people who are borderline saying, you know what, y'all, let's not even go back.
Right.
Yeah.
I have really been shocked. They were like, let's not even go back. Not because I don't want, and people, like a few people said, not because I don't want to play. I want to goddamn bust my butt. I want to win my first chip. Because these people was in good positions. They were like, but honestly, with what's going on,
Yeah.
that should come first.
Yeah.
Like, we've been behind so far, and I was like, wow, y'all like, and I was, you know what's funny though? I seen people literally arguing that they need to get out there and basically shut up and dribble. Black people, I'm like, why? It was funny to me because, and the players are like, honestly, we don't need to get out there and play because y'all gonna be talking about dunking the ball, not protesting.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, like, I truly was appalled. I was like, wow, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's some people really been moved. And they willing to take the hit financially.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a hit.
Yeah.
But I
That's
was
what
like,
I told him when LeBron James put that post on Instagram when he did his Twitter thing. And I told him, I said, you know, as much as I want to see LeBron win a championship in LA, I wouldn't be mad if he didn't play another game.
Yeah. And on the other hand, it's people protesting for it to kick off. Cause everybody in the NBA don't make LeBron James money or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's people who make a couple thousand a year like us, you know what I'm saying? For real. But they just out there on that TV, but they don't get the same money, so they hurting right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It gets to the point where you have to ask yourself how
But let them
much
Yeah.
how much and how important is equality to you? And if equality the end of racism is important to you, how far are you willing to make sure that this does not continue into the next year or so,
Right.
Yeah.
with the same problems, the same issues, the same everything.
Right.
And to be honest, I think that racism is just not going to end unless economically we are set up in the same opportunities as people that are getting these opportunities just off the simple fact that they're white. You know what I'm saying? And come to find out, I just think that it's more conducive for the U.S. because to think about it, racism in America has cost us more money financially as a country than it has actually helped us. People say that segregation was beneficial to black and brown people. In the totality, it doesn't help no one. Because in actuality, you're spending way much more money in separating people and having different water fountains as people of white skin color and other things, where all this money could be used in a more effective way in order to just live a simple equal equal opportunity for everyone. It's just you dividing the pie is not helping no one, really. If you really look at it, you're just spending way more money than you need to.
But it's their money, so they can spend it.
I mean, it's their money, but like, if I am an owner of a business, and my budget is, let's just say, 15 grand, and I'm not spending no more than 15 grand on whatever else, but I wound up spending way much more because of, I don't know, just some non-essential things. I'm wasting money, and as a business owner, you're looking at how can I fine line my pockets and how I can save money more so than how, just because I got it, is because money do dry up, and I just feel like I don't know if they understand that invoking racism into this country is really helping anyone.
Yeah, only thing I can see that benefits them is that society that lets them eat in the restaurant while people out here protesting. Like I think James' analogy of, certain people are literally just out there like, wow, that's interesting, y'all doing that. And then, but still was able to live their daily lives.
Yeah.
Whereas for some people, they literally, one, they literally either can't go to work, or two, even emotionally, you're so distraught that you can't go to work. Yeah. Racism does push an agenda that you will always be here. And with that, it leads to more law and order. Yeah. We have the control. Now, I will say this though, I actually do kind of agree with you. Economically, we'll be in a lot better position as a country if it wasn't for the fact that, hey, you literally wanted to keep us down here. I see what you're saying. You actually are right, because we will be more we'll basically be more self-dependent.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't need things like the government or Section 8 or these different things. Yeah, they could still be there, but we wouldn't necessarily thrive on these different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do agree with you 100% actually, Chris. As far as economically, we would be in a way better position.
It's proven in other countries. It's proven. I just don't understand why a business owner or someone, whoever it is that is the overseer of this country, would just think that implementing these sort of systems is conducive for any country. It's just, it doesn't make sense. You're just spending way more than you need to.
Yeah.
Just to prove a point that you that you will always be here.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't even think it was the
though.
point to prove that they'll always be here. It was just a point to, like you said, purposely keep them down.
That is-
because if they gave black people a chance, like Black
Yeah.
Wall Street, to thrive,
that
they
is
were
about
going to.
that is about as petty as 50 Cent buying out the whole front row of Ja Rule's concert, and he put money in Ja Rule's pockets more so than
Yeah.
he was more so concentrated on the perception of how it would look. Oh, Ja Rule ain't shit because nobody showing up to his concert, but he really found a lot in his pockets. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Psychologically screwed.
I ain't heard a hit yet, Ja Rule.
But on what y'all was just talking about though, I'm on a completely different end, y'all. Like I
Okay.
think segregation today, would be the real wake up call.
Yeah.
Cause to me, it ain't. I mean, it is different. Like right now in my lifetime, seeing what's happening, it feels different. Like it's a lot
It
of
is.
attention on it. It feels a lot different than what I've seen before. But white America know racism exists. White America know all the problems that black and brown people face, and it ain't fixed yet. So, to me, the real fix is to get our own. If LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving put their money together and started a league and said it's gonna only be black players, and all of that media and attention and those arenas started filling up with just black people, and all the black NFL players started a black league, and fitness centers, and if we had our own everything, and they saw just how much we contributed to this whole grand scheme of things, that'll be the real wake up call to me.
I get your point, but my thing is, you won't necessarily 100% own that business on white soil.
You're exactly right. I had this argument the other day. I said, as long as we're here, we have to play a duality game. You're exactly right, Chris. As much money we'll make
Buy
here.
your own land?
Yes. Oh yeah. This land
it's
is your
American
land.
soil.
This
Yeah.
land still is
No,
my land.
yeah,
At
it's
the
American
end of the
soil.
day, this is American soil. This is something that they like. Me and Mike was having a conversation.
They
Mike brought up a good point.
terrorists.
We forget that they did fight for this land. They did 100%.
Yeah.
And they colonized afterwards. or before. They colonized it
They
before
didn't
too.
fight, they stole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they
They had to
did,
fight for
oh
something
yeah,
that they stole.
yeah, they definitely did. But when they did that, when they fought for their land, well, the land they stole, now it's their land though. When they did that, they wasn't letting anybody else just come take it. You know what I'm saying? And Chris, I think you're exactly right. This is their land. We have to me as black, we got to accept that. Accept that this is their land. Yeah, we got screw rope in the deal too, by the way. But I think to move on, like to be completely 100, we have to accept that because it's the honest truth.
Yeah.
It is.
And to move forward though, we have to say, hey, either one, we're gonna invest and we're gonna start getting our land over here, or two, we have to find some place that's gonna work with us, whether it's China or even if it's here. We gotta figure out that hey, and I think we can do both. I think some people need to stay here, rooted,
Right.
and still keep building here, and also go wherever it is. Even if you want to go to Antarctica, I'm not voting for that. But
Yeah.
But even if it's what Akon was saying, Akon got on the radio and said, "Hey, all these black rich athletes, all these black rich business owners, bring it to Africa.
Because they didn't completely strip
If you pick
Africa
up
of
your
all of
stuff,
its
because
wealth.
LeBron James gonna still be able to put a ball in the hole in Africa. You know what
in
I'm saying?
today's technology,
Yeah.
He can still go put a ball in the hole in Africa.
Luda could still make
Go
music.
start a league in Africa, and maybe all of us will float. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't even got to be here. I'm just saying something of our own, something that we have control of, somewhere where we can't walk in and be subject to racism. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as it's embedded in the system,
I get
you're gonna
that.
feel it at some point.
I get that point. And let me just clarify. Are you saying that if black business owners actually took their assets, meaning money, and put it, let's say, in Africa, that would make it better for people like you and me? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I mean, it would in the long run, but LeBron James wouldn't have to wear an "I Can't Breathe" shirt in his own league. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I get what you're saying.
He
now.
wouldn't have
I
to.
kind of see what you're saying.
Yeah, he would. They wouldn't have to if they have their own.
Yeah, but my thing is, how does him going over to Africa change the situations over here in the U.S.? Because
He's
yes,
not going to.
huh?
It's not going. Racism
I'm
is
saying
embedded in the system. It's not
if every rich and wealthy black person in America took their stuff and took their riches and wealth and went to Africa,
the people they fans would follow.
right, and had something of their own, I won't have to go into Phillips Arena and be subject to racism. I won't have to go and into Roger Goodell's place of business and take a knee and get put out. You know what I'm saying? I can go take a knee and protest for my people. It's my league. You know what I'm saying? But I go to Roger Goodell's league and I can't I take a knee and I lose my job. So if I had my own, if Colin Kaepernick had his own league, you know what I'm saying? He'll still be playing football. He'll still be protesting.
And I kind of get the gist of what Vontae's saying. He's saying basically, let's say, for example, let's say we can do a deal with Ghana. Well, Ghana, and that's one of the countries, I mentioned them because that's one of the countries that's kind of accepting African Americans. So you do a deal with them and basically say, hey, I'm an ambassador of this country, but I'm from America. I'm willing to work with you guys to build up the economy.
Right.
Yeah.
But also we want to create a, I guess, pathway or diaspora for African Americans and Africans.
Yeah.
And then you have what you call Pan-Africanism. You know, so basically kind of like the Marcus Garvey movement all over again. We're basically trying to build that, not necessarily, but the reason why we're trying to basically build a home base.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
So just like, for example, Chinese people come over here all the time, you know, and they send over here for college, they learn the businesses, they learn the ways. That way, if you want to come over here, you're an ambassador now. We come over here, okay, now we know how things
how
are.
to fit into the society.
Yes. I can now, it's just like, for example, y'all moved to Missouri, right? I don't know nothing about Missouri.
Yeah.
But since y'all moved there now that y'all know the ways, I could come to Missouri.
Right.
And now I have somebody that can bounce me, even if I do get in trouble, like, oh, well, Vontae, can y'all let me know, like, how can I get a job here? How do I know this? How do I know that? So y'all basically saying if we had that pathway.
Yeah, like even on this soil though, even on this soil, history has proven that when black people get a power structure and thrive solely on their own, Black Wall Street, Black Panthers, they come and eradicate it. Why? Because that's the key. You know what I'm saying? That's the key. They don't want to see black power structures nowhere where they can thrive on their own. You need the government. You need the Section 8. You need this. You need this government cheese.
You need our.
You know what I'm
funding.
saying? They want us to be dependent, and I feel like if we had our own, that'd be the biggest attention getter ever.
Okay. Now I have a question. And somebody posed a great question. T posed a great question I've heard in this argument. I had it a couple times. Africa's colonized too.
It is. That's
Not all 50
not all
countries.
of
it.
Yeah, people act like all 50 countries, but a good portion.
A good portion of it.
A good portion of it is colonized.
But at least it's not all of America.
right, but it's the homeland. That's my point about Africa. You know what I'm saying? I ain't come from the ice. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying with Africa. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying Africa just because I'm saying that's the homeland. That's just the motherland for me and my people.
So you feel like it'll still be a better opportunity?
Yes. Oh yeah.
What about you, Chris? Would you say it would be a better opportunity for us to start building? Not saying we'll go over there, because I don't think Vontae necessarily go over there yet, but to start building a home place. Let's say that will be welcoming to us. That is one of the countries that is still, let's say, black owned.
I think there should be a way in how you do it. I think that if we were to do that, I think that in ways in how we have like sales tax and different other types of taxes that take care of certain things here for this country in regards to like road construction and other stuff. I think that and I'm just thinking off the top of my head, if we were to do that and put like our money like into like Africa, like you said, I think that we would need some sort of tax. So therefore, it can be like an optional tax that considering the fact that we live here and we don't necessarily live in Africa, it could be like an optional tax that it could be done like whenever you're filing for your taxes and you pay that like annually. Yeah. And that money goes to the building of the economy in Africa, or the construction in Africa, and building pretty much the wealth in Africa. So therefore, let's just say over the years of you working at whatever job that you've been working at for years, right? And you wound up building up a sense of I wouldn't say wealth, but enough money that you're able to say, you know what, I think I'm comfortable in making this next chapter in my life and this next step, and saying farewell to America and coming to Africa and letting that be now my new homeland. Then you can do that. I think that there should be a tax being tax being made, because I mean, I don't really know what their tax infrastructure is, but I think that if we want to be able to contribute, so therefore we're not only setting ourselves up, setting them up, but we're also setting ourselves up for the future. So therefore, whenever we feel comfortable and we seeing things thriving over there, okay, well now I got enough money where I can get me a plane ticket, I can take whatever I need and start a new life over there.
Yeah, like having a house. Yeah, and different things like that. They'll have a government that's bonded with ours. I see what you're saying. That is a good idea, having a tax, an optional tax.
Yeah.
And then you could like maybe
just build it up over time. Yeah.
And it should. And the reason why I say optional, because I really don't know how that works with our country approving that type of tax.
That's what I was about to say. So
that's why I say optional.
Right.
Or if there's a way where, with you living here in the U.S., where they have like some sort of website for like Africa.gov or something like that, right? Or Africa.co or something like that, right? And they have a way in they have a way of you setting up and registering for a way and you paying a sort of percentage in the tax. So therefore, you're contributing to the economy of that country.
Okay. Oh, okay. I got
so therefore, you don't have to worry about your money being wasted because it's interfaced within the U.S. Or you don't have to worry about them, interfering with the progress that is being made in Africa.
Yeah, and I think the biggest way you can do that, to me, like, in the easiest way economically, would be them having a signature product. Like, let's say, I don't know, let's say they made a new Gatorade, hypothetically, right? Yeah. But it became like the biggest sports drink in America. Them having their product, and it's, this African country based, let's just keep using Ghana, if it's Ghana based, and then that way, you work for this company, now you will have to do your retreat here. You see what I'm saying? And then basically, and then on top of that, you actually create a mutual relationship with, hey, America, we need your product because it's probably the best sellers market in the world. But then vice versa, Ghana, we need you to keep making that product as well. And I think that would be, but Chris, that is a good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Now somebody actually posed this question. I learned a lot about Black Wall Street that I didn't know on the other end. But somebody brought up a question of, they feel that back then, like a lot of them didn't have guns like that on Black Wall Street. I've heard that a few times, even from scholarly. They feel that wouldn't happen in today's time. That you could go in, you could not go in and basically bomb or set a fire on the city. Now, this is, I just heard, I'm just telling you.
Yeah,
this is some people say.
Yeah.
So they feel that we built that up again.
Yeah.
We built up Black Wall Street again. That in today's time, they couldn't come in and just bomb it like that.
Yeah, I feel like if they wanted to, I feel like if they really wanted
What's
to.
gonna stop them from an airstrike?
They'll tear it down.
So y'all think
if
that
they really wanted to, they'll
If
tear
they
it down.
really wanted to, they've killed
not if they wanted to. I'm saying, do you think that in today's time that they could come
That
in?
it would happen?
Yes, and remember, we didn't have guns back then.
Yeah.
I would say the average, at least the average people I know,
we got guns.
the average people I know have a gun.
Yeah,
at
but
least
we
one
ain't
or
got
two.
tanks.
Yeah.
we ain't got
tanks.
we ain't got a whole military force that we can say,
hey, these are terroristic
you know what I'm
acts.
saying?
Take them out.
So like I feel like
I would feel wrong again. I would feel like I'm conforming to the way of this world that I would like, damn, I have to live in the U.S. by carrying a gun. And I've never carried a gun before. So it's like, it would make me feel very awkward.
True.
And like, damn, I have to stoop.
To their level.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
In order to survive in this world. It just makes me feel like I'm coming out of my own character.
Guns back then, they just weren't
In order to
community.
survive, right?
Yeah.
It just, which is why I probably haven't bought a gun yet, because it just makes me feel like I'm becoming something that I know I'm not.
Yeah. But man, to me, man, if they saw something as peaceful and as chill as a man taking a knee as a hit to their power structure and got rid of him,
Good point.
and publicly lynched him, they would go to way further measures if we really had something like, I feel like a Black Wall Street pumping money and doing stuff for the black community, and I feel like they'll do anything, man. Even in today's time, yeah, I feel like they would.
So
Even if we had the ammunition to protect ourselves, we wouldn't be. I don't think we'd be able to hold it off forever. It'll be constant waves of terror. You know what I'm saying? It'll be constant waves of terror to me until they.
I have an actual question. For the businesses that y'all work for, have y'all actually had that conversation about race yet?
Huh?
As
What
in
was
the
the
business.
Yeah, I have. With the businesses that y'all work for, have y'all had that conversation as a whole?
As a whole?
In regards to race.
Like,
As
do they
a
have a
whole,
sit
no.
down? Did you know that you're supposed to have a sit down meeting like they have with anything important?
Like they did with COVID.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
We should have a whole training process. No, I have not seen that. But they have posted things like on our, we have a website, it's called Gap Web. They posted a video up there of a lady who explained basic racism and just to inform other people. She was like, it's called real talk. It's to get those uncomfortable conversations out, because she basically said right now isn't the time to be silent. Yes, you can have these conversations at work, because it's us being silent ain't gonna help nothing.
Right.
But do I think they should make that mandatory for everybody in the building to have? Yes, because just 2 days before I seen this video, I was talking to some associates, and one of the other managers was like, hey, you should be cautious about the stuff that you're talking about, because if somebody feels uncomfortable about what you're saying, they can go to HR and you can get fired. And I said, nothing that I said is one, unfactual. So what, you're just uncomfortable at facts?
People are uncomfortable with dealing with the reality of what the world is.
Yeah, exactly. And so that really made me upset, and I came home and I talked to him about it. But then like 2 days later, they put that video up on Gap Web, and I said, see, all of the leaders in this building need to watch this video, because I can say what I want to.
Yeah.
No cap, Chris.
My news station has had that conversation twice this week. This past week.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that is.
It is.
On the flip side,
I have.
Because the
do
director of journalism at WJBF, because I came in at 1. He was asking me, you plan on being at the meeting? I was like, what meeting?
That's how I am.
I
Every
ain't
weekend.
no email about no meeting.
So he was like, we're gonna have a discussion on whatnot. So I was like, it's gonna be in the newsroom. So I was like, well, I'll be tuning in while I'm doing my work. So I was like, I'll be listening. Come to find out, it was about race relations, and what was going on. Yeah. It was the person that brought the conversation about was this white girl named Jenna, my bad. And I guess she said that she's been having conversations with other news stations that work that she knows that work at these news stations, and I guess they've had these talks. And I guess whenever she was ever asked, like, have y'all had these talks yet? And I guess she didn't really necessarily know what to say. So I guess she brought it to the director of journalism, and they saw fit to have this conversation. And it was the first one was a very needed conversation, but uncomfortable, bro.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to speak, but I just kept to myself. Cause it just, I don't know, it just feels, for me, it just feels weird for me to having to
speak for all black people.
Well, not even that, cause I mean there was black people there.
Okay.
There was some people that just really didn't want to go, but wound up coming anyway, and they wound up speaking. But it just feels weird just informing people of something that is just so blatant.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just sounds like very show and tellish to me.
Yeah.
Like me telling you about my experience of being, it just sounds very like show and tell. It just sounds like just very awkward.
Yeah.
So I started questioning myself, like, should I say something? And I was like, you know what? Nah, I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing. So.
But that's how they get educators, by
Yeah.
personal testimonies.
Yeah.
That's how anybody gets moved by
Yeah.
knowing, hey, how did this affect you?
And I think that.
Especially now when people actually have an ear to listen.
I get the whole concept. Because Amanda Seales had said it in one of her IG Live moments. She says, like, it shouldn't be my responsibility to inform you on the black plight of what's been going on in the U.S. for so many years, when our history has been shunned, ripped away from our existence. We to this day we have problems in understanding who we truly are as a whole, as a people. So you want to take the shortcut in asking me in regards to information about my history? Nah, look in a book. Look in a book. We have Google nowadays. Look in a book. If you that motivated and trying to understand about the black plight and what we go through as a whole in the U.S., and you do the work just as much as we did the work in finding out who we are and things of that nature.
Yeah,
I get that. I do.
But I also do get that can be counterproductive in saying, because if you want racism to end, you also have to be willing to, in a way,
hold their hand.
I'm about to say it's a double deal. It's a double deal for us, because I get exactly what you're saying, Chris, and like damn, it's blatant. Like, I shouldn't have to explain to you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you see it, but at the same time, I know how well America hides the fact that it's so racist.
It's just like when you
what
watch a movie as a kid and then you watch it again as an adult,
you like,
don't get all of those subliminal messages. Like,
yeah,
they had that in that movie.
But they do an excellent job at putting it right up under the rug.
Chris, I kid you not. At my job, the only thing I got about that whole thing was an email.
It was an email? That's all?
Not from my boss, not from anybody, from like corporate.
Corporate. Oh, okay.
Like email that goes to everybody. That's like, if you work at Zaxby's, they go to everybody.
Yeah.
That was it. We didn't talk about it. We didn't have no meeting. We meet all the time. We had no meeting, not a huddle, anything. So I could say at least, and I could say for Vontae, and I literally had a man when I was coming to Hilton Head stop me and my brother when we was going fishing. He was like, hey, it was the weirdest thing ever. Yeah. Basically saying two big black guys, hey, you know, are things that bad in America? Literally. Started with that question. I really want to talk to the man. I really want to go fishing.
Yeah.
And we didn't have much time.
Yeah.
We ended up not even going fishing just because we stayed and talked to him.
Dang, okay.
But as crazy as that was, I respect him because he did truly want to ask that question.
Yeah.
That means there's a hope for change if he truly wants to ask that question. And I can say that I've been around people that truly do not want this system to change.
Right.
And to me, the worst thing you can do is not say anything.
Yeah.
As a other counterpart, because I know for a fact you don't want to say anything because either one, you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, or two, you disagree with what they're doing out there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I can truly say that for a lot of people who are white apologists, like, hey, that's messed up, y'all.
Yeah.
Understand? It can be aggravating.
Yeah.
But at least I can truly say in your heart that you don't hate me as a human being.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas, literally, Chris, we done had meetings about people's favorite TV show getting canceled.
Wow.
To the point of we can't even talk about the riot that happened right outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a guy. You remember Jonathan? He was helping on the track team for a while. You might not remember Jonathan.
Okay.
Harold. But he texted me the other day, and he said, "Hey man, basically, I'm sorry it's taking this for me to reach out and see how you doing."
Yep.
And I like to just call you and have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
I was like, man,
Bad.
like yeah, it shocked me because like you taking that step, like dang, like I told him on the phone. Unlike you, a lot of white Americans ain't willing to take that step. They don't want to take that step. And he literally asked me, he told me straight up, he said, I understand that when I say something with my white skin, it's received a whole lot differently than when you say it with your black skin. So tell me what I need to tell white America when I speak to him. And I was like, dang.
And TJ kind of did something like that.
Yeah.
He hit us all up. And it was as weird as it is, I respect it because it's showing that literally it's kind of like a humble state of, hey, honestly, y'all, yeah, stuff effed up. And I know stuff effed up.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of the ones that necessarily y'all fighting against.
Conflicting it.
But TJ mentioned something too. It's like, but I benefit on y'all. Diminish, y'all suffering. I benefit from it. Like he said, I'm a white pastor.
Yeah.
He was like, to be honest, I do benefit from it. And the reason why I can respect it is because it's honest.
Yeah.
It's honest.
And I can appreciate anybody that's willing to take a second and be like, hey, what's going on is wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not a part of the group that's benefit or that wants to benefit from it.
Right.
I'm not a part of that group. And to me, I actually realized that, wow, it is a change, somewhat.
Yeah.
It has been a movement. Because it can seem like everybody's like this. But you're starting to see it's more gray than you thought it was.
Yeah, and he said something else that made me realize like how much they keep it under the rug. And he was just straight up, and I appreciated his honesty. And he was saying like, I know the system's broken. I know it's set up for black and brown people not to win. I know the basics that we hear over the course of our whole life. Yeah. But I need the nitty gritty.
Like personally.
I need personal stories. I need like what you go through, on a daily, or some things you've gone through in the past to like really put me there. And that's what I appreciated the most, because the overall picture, everybody see that. Everybody know the system broken. Everybody know, you know what I'm saying? But they don't know the nitty gritty, and that's why they're so blind to it to me.
And I think the big thing is like talking to that white guy. Even for some of the richer black friends I have, it's kind of funny. We kind of had to educate them too. Yeah. Because they didn't see the lifestyle that like the average person that I guess we saw. And we were from 2-parent households. Yeah. It was like, we were privileged. Yeah. But it was kind of funny because we were just showing them that, hey, a lot of this stuff, it might not happen to you.
To you specifically. Yeah.
And that's great. Shout out to you. Shout out to your parents for putting you in a great environment. But I can go show you a neighborhood. We just spent 3 days. Yeah. You're going to see how unjust they live. Not black or white, just everybody down there lives.
Everybody there, yeah.
And I think that was the big thing. And I did appreciate, at least, I do agree with you, Chris. They should go, like how we had to go learn ourselves. They should at least go learn a little bit about us. You're exactly right about that. But I can say that I did appreciate a few people that did reach out and that did take the time to be human and to understand that, hey, what happened down there was flat out wrong, man. And you know what I think happened, Chris? To be honest, I think they finally witnessed some of their leaders, some people that they looked up to. I think they seen true racism in those people.
True.
Cause remember, they ain't gonna have those conversations. They would never say about George Floyd how they truly feel around us. They know.
Right.
They know. But I think they truly finally seen some people that was on that backside and were like, wow.
That's really how you feel.
This is how I see why my boss hate so-and-so.
Yeah.
The way you responded to it, I see why, you know. And they were like, wow, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it was from one of the few times they stepped outside and said, like, wow, maybe some of the stuff we've been doing has been really effed up.
Yeah.
And maybe I haven't been doing it. I think genuinely people reaching out, I think they genuinely haven't been doing it.
Yeah.
They're like, maybe I benefit from that. Or maybe, you know, I could have been doing something a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't appreciate at least that. But I could say on my end, it wasn't nothing said about it. And it was literally to the point of, to me, get up and just go do it, man. It wasn't like nobody came and they might ask you questions.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like they legit were like, hey, you know what, we truly are fighting with you.
Yeah.
No, they keep racism, politics, and religion all out of all.
Yeah.
So,
It just is what it is, man.
shout out to your job.
Yeah, I was about to say, see y'all progressive.
Hey, your job.
Y'all progressive, man.
We have to be.
Because of the.
We have to be very cognizant very cognizant as producers and journalists, because what we don't want to do is be gaslighting the situation to become more, because we had the conversation like in the newsroom, are we depicting the death of George Floyd as a murder or as a death? Because there's a difference. There's a difference in saying that. I actually had a real good question because
Okay.
And I understand, and I already knew the answer. I was just wanted to let out my frustration. I was like, for us being journalists and producers in this newsroom, where our job is to necessarily document, inform, and tell the story of what's necessarily going on, but not necessarily to put our input, our opinion on something. And my question in my head was, well, is it really that much of an opinion if the whole world saw the video of what necessarily happened? If I'm basically telling you that the knee to the neck of George Floyd by such and such caused the death of George Floyd, isn't that a murder? Wouldn't you call that a murder?
Right.
How is that me inciting my opinion on something that it is what it is? We all saw the video. Whether you want to play denial or whatever the case may be, we all saw the video.
But they'll tell you his intention was just to keep him detained. He tried to kill him. His intention, but whatever. You know, like you said, we all saw it.
But it's not even that. The dude was crying out for his. The dude was basically saying he could not breathe. So wouldn't it be logical, just logic reasoning, just spewing out logic reasoning? Wouldn't it be more benefit?
He already handcuffed.
Yeah, he's already handcuffed. He's defenseless.
At least get off him for a second and see if he really can't breathe.
Right.
And then just kneel back
You
on.
ain't believe
At
it.
least.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you put him in a cop car like you did everybody else who you arrest?
Yeah, or that. And second, that was my time. I'm like, bro, 8 minutes, 46 seconds. I'm like, bro, what was y'all doing?
That's a long time. Yeah.
First off, I done been in a kneel position. After about 5 minutes, they ain't that comfortable.
5 minutes. My knee is bad.
Yeah. That's what I say.
I be like,
and he ain't no young man.
I said he's grown.
So I thought saying, I was like, yeah, bro, that's a long time.
And you think about your body weight and how it just sits. Like you sitting there for 8 minutes, your full body weight is pressing down. Like you ain't just standing up with a foot. You know what I'm saying? Like you got your whole body weight for 8 minutes.
But yeah, you right, man. And I ain't gonna lie, more and more I can see the lack of care for a lot of people around me. I truly don't believe, cause like for me, I would have brought it up as, hey, we could talk about it, and I don't even know where it's gonna go. but we can just talk about it. Just to say, hey, that we had this conversation.
My thing in saying that is, they feel it's not. They feel let the court decide on whether it was murder or whatever the case may be. And once they decide, then we implement that in our stories. We can't necessarily say that it is